this is Arianak with another episode thoughts for Uta no Prince-sama, Maji Love 2000%, and this is for episode 5. And this time we have Otoya getting his pretty much episode focus, and I'm really glad for it because I kind of felt like of all the characters in this first season, he's the one who I don't feel really got, like, I guess much development in his, I guess, focus episode in that season because he was the first one up, and at the time we were also, you know, learning about Haruka, so it seemed like, you know, we didn't get too far into, like, learning more about him as we had to, you know, focus on the main character of the series. So I feel like this episode definitely something I really enjoyed because we actually got to learn a bit more about him as we learned that, you know, he was an orphan and he still visits the orphanage that he was raised in quite a bit and helps them out. And it's just kind of nice to see him because, you know, he is the character that, you know, usually he's always kind of bright and cheerful. So it's kind of nice to get a little bit more depth to him, as we do in this episode. Also, just in general, just words are failing me. Oh, I do like the fact that, you know, with this we do have Haruka in the end kind of helping him through this episode and kind of being the one to kind of push a bit of his character growth. I think in this, even though, you know, Cecil is used quite a bit in this season, it kind of made a lot more sense for Haruka to be there for this episode for Otoya. And I think that's probably like the nice thing in general is that with this season, you know, it, unlike the first season where everything seemed to have to land to Haruka and her having to, you know, step in and be that catalyst to, you know, help whoever, you know, is having any kind of issues. This time, you know, they have, like, Cecil to switch back and forth from. But of course, like I said, in this episode, we go back to Haruka, and it just makes a lot of sense in Otoya's case that, you know, she would be the one, because we're not really dealing with the show business kind of thing. We are dealing with something on a much more personal level, which Haruka seems to fit much better in. So, rather enjoyed that. I am very much noticing a trend where just about everyone who gets their focus basically gets to go ahead and at least attempt to make some kind of confession to Haruka. And of course, her being completely and utterly oblivious to it. Because, you know, that's just who she is, and it's no fun to lock into a route when there's still so many other guys that we need to focus on and learn more about, which I'm all for. Definitely enjoying this series, or this season for that. And, of course, I would like to see more of Quartet Night, because I have actually looked up to see what the name of that group is. I feel terrible for totally screwing up until then. But, you know, we do at least kind of see a little bit of Kamu because he seems to be more or less attached to Cecil. As at least Cecil is making use of his mentor, unlike everyone else who seems to be more or less happy to kind of go off on their own way for now. So, but I think, like I said in the last episode thoughts, I do kind of feel like they're being saved for the latter half, or the later half of this season. Though I would like to see, like, a little bit more of them before then. But I guess, you know, even that said, we're a good way through the Starish guys, so I don't think I have to wait either way. But let's see. I think that's just about all I can think of. I do like the fact that we do get to see that scene of Otoya and Cecil in the beginning on the variety program. Just because, you know, if you're familiar with Japanese TV variety programs are a huge thing, so it's kind of nice to see that, and also interesting to see how they played off each other. And that's, they basically end up doing like a bit of a manzai, which is a comedy, I guess, duo kind of stand-up thing, where, you know, you have one person who's kind of like silly and the other one who's kind of like the straight man. And it's kind of fun to see like Otoya end up having to be the straight man of the group, or of the duo, I guess. But in a way it kind of fits, because Cecil definitely seems to be oblivious enough that there's no way he can really play the straight man. So, you know, that was just kind of a nice touch, and also just to see, you know, what exactly these guys are doing, as, you know, they're advancing their careers as idols. So, I think we do also have that kind of a scene, which I guess is probably meant to kind of move the general story along, or at least remind us that it exists, of Haruka going in to see Shining Sao Tome and, you know, handing in songs that she's written, and the fact that, you know, he keeps encouraging her to keep writing more to find like the hit song. So I really feel like that's just a reminder that, yes, this is a thing that's happening, remember it. And eventually it'll actually come up and be something important near the end. So I guess with that more or less wraps it up. Though I do like, at the end we do have Moses Tarish in these silly bear outfits. That was a pretty fun scene. In fact, most of this episode is a lot of fun. Which kind of makes me wonder if we're going to be hitting an episode at some point where it's going to be a little darker. But I think with that more or less wraps up everything I have to say, definitely now, since I definitely want to start getting into like the next episode at least. So thank you for watching. I hope you subscribe to my channel, leave a like or a comment. Until next time, bye!